This is it, younger fans. After 7 wild and wonderful seasons, we've come to the end of the ride. I'm Taylor Strecker, and we're about to go behind the scenes of the series finale of Younger. This is your final Getting Younger after show. Here with me to give Younger the send-off it deserves are Sutton Foster.
Hey!
Hello, Peter Herman.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. Nico Tortorella.
Hi.
Debbie Mazar.
Ciao.
Molly Bernard.
Hello.
Hello. And show creator Darren Starr.
Woo.
Hi. You guys, no! I can't do this. I'm crying. It's too much. I was getting ready for this. I was watching the show. I have been crying for the last 24 hours. So, you guys, I am so. Have you guys been crying for the last 24 hours?
For the last
the
month. We've been through this. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the ship, Taylor.
Oh my God. I was going over the script last night and my fiance was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'm not well, bitch. I'm not well." So anyway, here we are. Here we are. Okay, let's start with that final scene where we find Liza and Josh right back where it all began. Darren, did you always know it was going to be Josh in the end?
It's not necessarily Josh.
Ah.
I don't know. That's not the intention of the ending, Taylor. That is not the intention of the ending. The intention of the ending is that Liza and Josh have re-met each other at the moment that Liza's journey began, and the story is open. Everybody, she's not with anybody, but she's got her dream. Her dream was to succeed in work. She is running Empirical. She is, she has both of these men in her life, but the romantic question is not resolved.
We're open, Taylor. We're open.
What? Well, shit.
But I would say I think that is your interpretation.
Well,
And I also, Taylor, I also think that, it started out more this idea that Liza was this person who was going to be fulfilled by either one of these men, and I think that as the story arc towards completion, I think that they are both beautiful human beings who are in her life, but they don't complete her. She is complete unto herself, and I think that's really the beauty of the story.
yeah. I will say, fine, I'll take it. This is the me issue because I have been, and Peter, I love you and I love Charles, but I've been team Josh since the beginning because it reminded me of my life. And I mean, I wouldn't even be a good audience member if I didn't project my entire life onto the show.
But I think
Just looking for the sign-off button.
Sure.
So that's what I did.
I think it can satisfy everyone in the audience because you can project your own ending onto this show.
Totally.
The fact that we wound up exactly where we started with that scene. I mean, what
elegant.
an incredible button on this story. Like, I have a question, Darren. When did that hit you that that was the scene you were going to bring back?
That happened last year, over a year ago.
Oh, wow.
In March in the writer's room, right before the pandemic hit, there was this epiphany. Yes, let's end the show here this way, but not really having an idea, a path of how we were going to get there. But if we could make it happen, I thought it would have been just such a lovely way to end this whole show and feel like there's just, I don't know, something kind of magical about the way it ended, I think, or could have ended. And there were a lot of different routes to get there. Sometimes it wasn't even there for a long time. And then when we started really getting back, writing again, we had all different ways. And then, someone in the writer's room was like, "Hey, remember that idea about meeting Josh again in the bar?" It's like, "Oh yeah, let's not forget that," So there were about 15 different ways to end this, but I think we found the right one. I really do.
Awesome.
Okay, Sutton and Nico, how did it feel to come full circle with that scene? When you found out that was going to be the scene, how did it feel?
I felt I remember reading it, and because I read it before you did, and we were shooting a scene that day, and when we read the script, and I was like, and I just said, it's you and me at the end.
Yeah, fully.
And which felt like, it felt right. It felt satisfying. And it felt like, I was so thrilled that Liza and Charles were able to have one more moment together, but then it felt right that the last scene was with Josh.
We were shooting that scene where we are carrying Maggie's art into the studio. And Sutton looks at me and goes, it's you and me in the end. And then cut to us filming this scene, which also happened to be my last day on set.
Right.
And Darren was there as well.
Yeah.
And we could bear it. I was just like not there. Like I just couldn't. I pulled it together finally for the scene, but during rehearsal, we could barely.
We couldn't even look at each other. I was like avoiding eye contact. We were just so like emotional, and remembering like the pilot. I mean, it's so.
For me, the symmetry to it was just that this is where Liza's journey started when she met Josh, and he mistook her for being in her 20s, which gave her this whole idea. So just to meet him at the end, for the two of them to meet each other after they'd gone through 7 seasons of whatever they'd gone through, the idea is not that they were going to necessarily be together, but that they were just sort of meeting each other again after having gone through both of them having gone through this amazing journey because of having met each other.
Yeah.
And Josh has always been here, right? And it may not be this like perfect example of what we think a stereotypical relationship is, but like that was never what they were looking for in each other. You know what I mean? It's a younger relationship.
So Sutton, Peter, and Nico, you were part of this epic love triangle for 7 years. How are you all feeling after seeing where it ended?
Exhausted. No, lucky, grateful.
Yeah.
Like it was awesome for me. Like how lucky to be able to fall in love with 2 wonderful human beings and to be able to have this storyline for so long. And it was just, it was awesome. It was so wonderful. And, it was wonderful to live vicariously through Liza to have.
I also think that would that all love triangles would be filled with this much affection, and I think that there was on screen, obviously there's so much drama played out and conflict and breakups and togetherness and all of this. And then the behind the scenes was a preposterous amount of love and support and
respect
and just respect for each other. And I am wholeheartedly Team Josh, wholeheartedly Team Nico, Team Sutton, Team all of us, and it's not just affection. I think that we all really hope for each other in our lives. There's something about this cast and this group and this there's so much goodness in all of it. And so it was a love triangle. It was also an affection triangle, a support triangle, and a hope triangle. So in the best way, it really was and is.
A hope triangle. I love that.
Hope triangle, yeah.
Hope triangle.
Molly and Debbie, what were your reactions to the finale?
Oh, well, I was also on the set when, we got the script and it was, we were carrying my artwork. We were on the street and I didn't have time to read it. I had dialogue and whatever. And I remember looking at Sutton and seeing her face, close the script. And she goes like, wow. And when I saw her face, all the emotion, she was so calm. And there was this confidence. We didn't discuss it because we had, to work. But, me personally, I loved it because I just felt like at least, she's made a choice finally. You know, and of course I've always been team Josh. I mean, you know, I love Charles, and I didn't
Getting killed here.
it's good that she goes some direction and that she's had good success with her job.
I love the ending because I'm a sucker for a bookend.
Yeah.
I think
Pun intended.
pun intended. The elegance of the storytelling, like visually, and also after 7 years of what fans of the show have been through together. I'm really a fan of Charles's end. I think we see this season a depth of character, and he's kind of in a little bit of a crisis of with himself. And I think that's, I don't know, it was really moving to me because sometimes the show, light and effervescent as it is, there's an underbelly of, I don't know, profundity that always kind of like sucker punches me. And I like that Liza understands, like, yeah, this is not the moment for this. And that Josh kind of re-enters as a father, he's kind of a Liza at the end, you know, it's just, they're meeting each other in this new realm. I think it's so beautiful.
I also think, you know, you mentioned that word, the elegant, and I think that Darren, that's the word that I've used to describe so often the writing on the show. It was so as raunchy and envelope pushing and of the moment funny as it has always been. We all have these, you know, writers' crushes on what you all have done. So we just can't thank you enough, really.
And you guys as actors, I mean, you pull it off like so beautifully. And I know that the great thing about writing for a cast for so many years is, you know, that they're going to be able to like bring it home.
We have to talk about the heartbreaking scene where Charles and Liza realize that they're not going to make it. Darren, what were the discussions like in the writer's room, figuring out how to bring Charles and Liza's journey to an end?
Well, I think that there were a lot of like, you know, sort of machinations, farcical moments, you know, where Liza has an epiphany and Charles gets it also. But I feel like in the end, we just sort of landed on just sort of this moment that was all about this understanding that Charles's level of integrity would not be able to sustain this relationship. And Liza understood it also. And I think it's the price of the lie that kind of like unfolds. In the end, it costs her, you know, love and a relationship. Which I think is like, I think the fact that the lie does not go sort of like, you know, she doesn't really get away with it in the end, which I think is sort of like, I think there's like, it's a little bit of a morality tale at the very end, that there's a cost to her life. Bit of a
what was the word that you used?
A little bit of a morality tale.
A morality tale. Oh, God.
Yeah, that there's a cost to her lie. That in many ways she got what she wanted, but it also cost her a lot also as well.
Darren, that is so beautiful. That is like I'm sad that I didn't have that level of analysis. That's so.
Well, watch. You haven't seen the episode yet.
Right. I know. I
really do think. I think there's something about reading the script and watching the show that's two different things. Really, it's like, you know, the script is a blueprint, and you have to see it. And
you also just whipped profundity, Molly. So
yes, you did.
I feel like your analysis was pretty advanced.
Yeah, I was grabbing my thesaurus for that one, big time.
And it was really interesting. I'll say one last thing about our very last scene. You know, the very last scene between Charles and Liza, and it was in the office, and it actually took us a bit to get to the fact that it's an incredibly hopeful scene. That it's a really hopeful ending. And, you know, back to this idea of living authentically, you know, I think it's so elegant that Liza, in a sense, becomes the person who helps Charles walk out into his life. That is so beautiful. And he, in handing her the company, in a sense, answers the question from the first episode whether she's too young to go back into publishing. Right. And so there's this epic fireworks answer to yes, no, and you're not only not too young to go back into publishing, you get to run the entire company. And we both usher each other into the next chapter of our lives in such a beautiful way.
I feel like everyone's characters had like their storyline wrap up, their moment. Speaking of which, Lauren's reunion with Max did not go quite as planned. And Maggie surprised herself by falling in love. So both women got very different but seemingly happy endings in this finale. Debbie, how do you feel about Maggie's resolution? Why do you think Cass and Maggie are actually really good for each other? And after so many years of Maggie kind of just being, free as a bird, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think that for Maggie, Cass, she presents herself in a way that Maggie's now completely lost. She's in control in a sense, like she can't control this woman. She has a career, she has a life. She, doesn't take no for an answer. And Maggie's not used to it. She's always in control. So for me, it was wonderful because I got to play vulnerable. I got to be confused. I got to get out of the apartment. I got Darren finally wrote me a scene, which I begged for 7 seasons. I was like, please, can I be on the subway just once in New York City? And he wrote it. And that was incredible because a lot of history happened actually in that particular station when it was open. And that's where we got to kiss. And given it was Jeanine Garofalo, who I've always been a fan of, obviously in comedy, it was very profound because we had a moment where I'm about to tell her off. She's, showed up at my art space at the dive bar. And, Lauren has nearly thrown her out and threatened to chop her up into pieces. And the exchange that was written, there was something that was so real and tangible that actually both of Jeanine and I started getting teary, and she started crying from my delivery. And then when she came back to me with her reply, I was just like, oh wow. It changed the course of where Maggie was going, because I don't think Maggie had intended to look for love in that way. And she's fascinated with the woman. They go out and they have fun. They talk. It's very adult. It's very different for her. But for once, a character came in, and Maggie was not in control, and her heartstrings are being kind of pulled, and her curiosity. Because Jeanine Garofalo herself is a character. She's a handful, and so when she comes into Cass. Whoa. I mean, the dinner scene with Lauren, Cass, and what's her girlfriend's name? Camilla. Camilla. Right. I literally had to do looping because I said Camila. I Italianized it or made her Spanish or something. But we had so much fun. There was a lot of energy there. And I feel grateful because Maggie's been slutty and not slutty, but she's been really promiscuous throughout all the seasons, and this was a moment for her to finally show some colors, I think.
I loved it. Yeah. I love the development this season. And also Molly, Lauren, she was still very much Lauren, but she kind of graduated to, the Office version of Lauren. And the ending for her, what was your reaction when you found out where Lauren and Max's story was going to actually end up? Because I didn't predict it.
Well, I just feel like there could be no better ending for Lauren. Of course, she maybe thinks she's in love with Max and that she should do the thing that her parents want her to do. Of course. And even better, the red herring of him, wanting to divulge this important piece of information. And then in comes the fiance. And then of course, Lauren has a threesome. It's just there's no more perfect ending. And I just was overwhelmed with like when I finished the script, I like put it down and I was like, I was like, I feel complete. And that really gets me and gets Lauren. And I was so pleased. Like I was smiling ear to ear. And Hannah doesn't know, even though I just was screaming. So I hope she's listening. But my partner does not know how it ends. And I'm like so excited for her to see what happens because I just think people who love the show and love Lauren will be like, oh yeah, of course. We there's A and there's Z and then there's all these letters in between and there you go. It's just a
Well, so you know what's so funny about that scene? Beyond aside from all of it, it's such a funny, surprising scene. But what you're wearing in the hospital cafeteria just makes me laugh.
What was she wearing? I wasn't there.
I'm wearing this white.
She comes from this big empirical 100th anniversary party into the hospital cafeteria.
Yes. So I'm dressed in nines, like this. I'm wearing this white, like lioness, like faux fur with this tiny little pink dress. And the way that Peter Lauer just let Ben and I mean, I was like, we were basically about to make out. And then he's like, and here's my male fiance. We were so close to each other. And I just was like leaning, I was like, frothing and salivating. And it was just it was one of the most fun scenes to shoot, actually. And it just made all the more ridiculous that we're in the hospital cafeteria and I look like I'm going to the Met Gala.
Yeah, exactly.
Darren, I have to ask you if you can talk about the responsibility you feel as the show's creator to give every character a satisfying ending, because you did it. But I mean, how?
I feel like it's a major responsibility. And it was like, it's stressful. That's the good and the bad of a show going this many seasons. It's like, all right, now you got to end it in a way that feels that I feel satisfied, that I want that you want to satisfy the audience. And most of all, you want to give all of these characters great endings and let them sort of like go a step beyond where they've been for the entire run of the show. You want to feel like there's some purpose to have gone through all this 7 seasons of story, that each character is sort of like growing and that the audience is left with the sense of possibility for all of them.
Yeah.
So, that's why that's the plus side of having like another extra 6 months to think about it.
Right. So also we can't forget about Kelsey's bombshell. She's moving to Los Angeles to start her own company. So what are our thoughts on that? I mean, it's like, what's Kelsey's new life going to be like post, leaving New York? I mean, Molly, how does Lauren feel about that ultimately?
I think Lauren is shocked and feels left out and sad that she's going to lose her best friend. Yeah, there. We did a few different takes of that moment where Kelsey drops that bomb. One in which I really was like, like I felt offended. But I think it's a great ending for Kelsey too, by the way, because she is stuck in this toxic relationship with, men, with her job, with being tossed about hither and thither and being publisher, not being publisher. It's just, it keeps, the cycle is going. So I think her being able to leave is perfect and she needs to get out.
Darren, in your mind, what is in store for Kelsey?
A spinoff.
Well, anything's possible, but I do think a whole new life in Los Angeles with a lot of surprises. And I think she wants a new beginning. I think like Liza got in the series, in the pilot, Kelsey wants a fresh start. And I think she has sort of come to the end of the road at Empirical and sort of like, in some ways in New York, I think so many people move to Los Angeles to reinvent themselves. And to kind of like leave New York behind and fresh slate. Nobody knows them. And it's just a whole different way of living out here. And I think, it's sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So I think she wants that up. I think she wants that opportunity. And I think it's like it's a great twist and a great opportunity for her that like lands in her lap after all of this. And I think what's really nice about also this final episode for me is that the story's really not over until the last scene of the show. You know, you do have to hang in there until that very last scene to know what the ending is for all of our characters.
Mm-hmm. Nico, we talked about where things ended with him and Liza. Mm-hmm. But how do you feel where Josh is as a dad, as a business owner, and like as a building owner? Yeah. I love that, by the way. Yes.
Growing and moving in Williamsburg. I feel like Molly's interpretation of Josh is a kind of Eliza now. Obviously a different version, but that was profound, Molly. I really like that a lot.
Like my analysis.
Yeah, I love your analysis.
Thank you.
No, look, I mean, Josh has like quite literally grown up in front of our eyes over 7 years. I mean, he's a different person in so many ways. And really after Gemma, he started taking care of himself in ways that he wasn't beforehand, or focusing his energy on himself because he had to show up for his daughter. And that's when Josh, for me, really became Josh outside of everyone else on this show, you know? Slash, remember when Josh had friends that weren't other people on this show?
Oh, yeah.
No, but like,
He had a washboard. He played washboard.
He had a washboard. He had roommates.
He had a roommate. I know.
Yeah, all sorts of friends. I thought we were going to get the last name on a business card, or if we're signing the paperwork on the contract for the building, we were going to see Josh Duff, maybe. Who knows?
Too big of a choice. We don't want to have to go there.
Yeah.
We'd never live up to anybody's dream of that last name.
Truly. I thought it was going to be Star. No.
Oh, there you go.
Star. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I like it.
Saying.
Can you talk about what you gave Sutton?
Sutton is the Jedi Knight of crochet. So I thought that I would. I thought that it would be a good thing to say thank you to her in her own language. So through the help of some of many YouTube videos and a fantastic Zoom crochet teacher, I learned a bit how to crochet and said thank you to Sutton in her language.
Wait, you did that?
Yeah.
No. Peter.
Awesome.
So I crocheted until my fingers bled.
He taught himself how to crochet.
Wait. When were you doing this?
I did it the 3 days before we wrapped.
Crazy! This is a lot. I mean, you're insane.
And then we were shooting at a house, and I needed to go crochet. And so they put Sutton and me in one room together, you know, as a green room to go and wait until we shoot. And I was like, I have to go make some phone calls. Yeah. And so I sequestered myself.
Room? Can I have a room separate from Sutton? And I was like,
Sutton was like, wow, you're super diva at the end here.
To the end. Now the two feelings are coming out, and I was like, whatever. So yeah.
And then I gave it to Sutton, and she was like, "Where did you get this?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Where did I get it?"
Because who said that?
I have to know. Will you continue? Are you in Crochet Club now?
I'm in a club of one, but I will not lie. I have done a bit since then because it's just really nice. So there.
Oh, this is like all my dreams, like one by one.
Yes.
So exciting. It's so crazy.
You guys were incredible. You guys got this season done during a pandemic. I mean, first of all, thank you, all of you. I was really like, I don't think this is going to happen. And you guys, I don't even know how you guys pulled this off. I just mean in general in the world. But like, my God, it really, I can only imagine how challenging it was, but you did it. I really want to talk about what was so rewarding about that experience?
I just feel so grateful that we were able to come back to this show. We have known each other for so long, and at its core, this show is joyous and optimistic. Amidst everything else that was happening in the world, we got to show up as a crew and laugh and love. That's what we do on this show more than anything else.
Molly?
This show means so much to me. And it was surreal at times shooting through the pandemic. And you're right, Nico, like we did it with such grace and respect and tenderness because we have 6 years of this history together. And it was just, there were so many times where I was moved, that it was ending. It was very hard. Some scenes were really tough because we knew that it was just around the corner that the show was going to end, but also just by a gentle, like, touch on the shoulder of like, how are you doing? Or like Debbie would call me and be like, hey, you were really great today in that scene. Like the attention and the care for each other was so deep this year. And it was I will cherish this season.
My line is, okay, let's get mushy, but I think we're there. It's time for a game we're calling Getting Sentimental, because we haven't been doing that at all this entire time. So each of you will pick someone else's name out of our virtual hat. I brought the wine glass back. It's not the big one, but you know, this is one for my house. And tell us one thing you love about them and one thing you learned from them during your time working together on Younger. Okay, so here we go. Let's start, Molly, let's start with you. I'm gonna pull a name and here we go. Sutton.
Oh, perfect.
So again, it's one thing you love about them and one thing you learn from them.
One thing.
One.
Okay, one thing I love about Sutton Foster is her fucking effervescence. She is the brightest light you ever did meet. And with effervescence, I think there's also some bubbliness and some kindness. Okay, there's a lot in there. And what I've learned from Sutton, obviously I would say crochet, but that's not my answer. My answer is I have learned etiquette, and I have learned a level of grace. A masterclass, a 7-year grad program of how to be a number one, the number one on a set that exists on the planet. And I learned how to be on a TV show because of Sutton.
Wow.
Look at her face.
I know.
Wow.
Oh, that's the I'm not going to cry face, huh, Sutton?
Yeah, I'm just trying to hear it. That's all. I love you.
I love you.
Okay, Sutton, I'm going to go to you, okay? I'm just going to.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to pull a name out. Nico.
Oh, Nico. Oh. What is the thing I love? Nico, first of all, I love you. Nico, what do I love about Nico? Nico is, you are light and you are openness, and that's what I love the most about you is your open, generous heart, and that you are not only like so beautiful to look, you're so my Brody's like, you're so beautiful and attractive and, you know, handsome, but you are so much more. You are intelligent and smart and like layered and important, and I just think you're incredible. And what have I learned from you? I have learned so much from you. You have taught me so much about love and being inclusive and you have been a sounding board. I have asked you tons of questions, and you have opened my eyes and my heart to so much, and I'm so, and will be forever grateful. But I just think you are an exceptional human.
That was great. I love you so much. Let's not forget, Peter Herman may have learned how to crochet for you, but I learned how to tap dance for you. So
Right.
I love you so much.
I love you too, babe.
Okay, Nico, you're up. I'm going to pull for you.
Oh, great.
Nico, tell us about Peter.
Oh,
Oh.
These are rigged. They're too perfect.
oh man, Peter. The amount of conversations that I have had about you outside of this, just at home with my partner, and how much I look up to you. And grace is the word. You fill space with ease and respect, and the way in which you can make a toast or like give thanks to where we are and who we are. I've never seen anything like it, honestly. And that is probably what I have learned from you the most, is to just appreciate the moment and share with the people around you how much you appreciate the moment. You're it. Like you are the example of masculinity that like I try to carry in myself.
No.
That's super heavy.
It's true though. I love you so much.
I love you so much.
Okay, Peter, you're up.
Heavy.
True.
Thank you, Nico.
I can see all that, Nico.
Jeez. Okay.
Okay, Peter, give it to Debbie.
Out of all the people, I think that we had we spent the least amount of time on set together, right? We had the fewest, like one or two, and yet you're so present in my heart, which is remarkable, and I think that somebody else who wouldn't be, who I interacted with like in person with so little, wouldn't be that present. I said to Darren earlier, I said the word elegance, and that is like my father was a very elegant man, very complicated man, very elegant man. So is my mother. And I think that is such a beautiful quality in life, elegance in friendship, and elegance in conversation, and elegance in kindness. And I think that you have such a deep elegance about you, and such a and you also just have straight up beauty, just like straight down the barrel. I mean, beautiful, so much beauty about you, but also this stately elegance and this stately presence that takes space, in such a badass way that I admire so much, and I watch at times, and I'm like, shit, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to walk in a room and do that. Like just, and that is the thing that I think I've learned from you, or that I want to learn from you, is sometimes to care less. And I have this kind of running track in my head, like, God, what are people going to think of that? Or how does that sound? Or if I say it this way, how will that sound? And that ticks along at a fairly high volume in my head. And I really have to sort of honor that and say, okay, well, that's a nice opinion, but I'm gonna speak now. And I think that I like your relationship with that tape, where you're like, okay, thank you very much, but I'm just gonna be, and I'm gonna talk, and let the chips fall where they may. And I think that is that is teaching that you sometimes don't realize that you do. And I'm really grateful for it. And I really honor you for it. And I think you're just extraordinarily beautiful. So
we love you, Debbie Mazur.
I love you all. Thank you so much. That's beautiful. It's funny because when you hear people talk about like certain traits or whatever, I just, sometimes they get you into trouble, you know. But I love the well earned, because, and also it comes with age. Some of these things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Debbie, are you ready?
Yeah, I guess. Molly, oh my God. Well, Molly. I adore Molly Bernard. From the day that I met her, I was saying last night in the press junket, she to me was like this sort of hummingbird with all this incredible energy, and I just really respect her because she. I know her background a little bit. We've spent a lot of time talking about her childhood and my childhood and where we came from, and Molly and Nico, but they both taught me a lot about the LGBTQ plus APK,
Yes,
using, the them, they, and I really appreciate that because, it's important. And Molly's just been very generous. I mean, I've seen Molly come into this show as her first TV show. And it was really beautiful to see because, obviously she is like a Yale graduate, right? Is it Yale? Right. So, and has worked before, but this was her first TV show. And, they were in the beginning to watch her like have the butterflies, it's like watching the Wizard of Oz again, like me watching my children watch the Wizard of Oz. When you see somebody watching something for the first time when they're children, and watching actors come on a set is sort of like that. And me being older than her, I was watching her do her scenes, and we had some scenes where we had to be in bed naked, wearing very little clothing, trying to be sexy. And I got to watch Molly grow as a TV actress. I mean, she's always quick, but she, it's just incredible how we all sort of got into a great rhythm together. And, always professional, shows up on time. And the clothes don't wear her. She wears her clothes, and the eyes are like Betty Davis eyes. And I just was so happy to work with her because she's an amazing person, and a very, very generous actress. Yeah. And yeah, no, I adore her, and I hope that like with all of you, I just really hope that we truly do stay in touch and have a meal together, maybe get together and cook once this COVID's all over.
I'm coming to visit you in Italy.
All of you.
Oh yeah.
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 I thought that your hummingbird description of Molly was so beautiful yesterday, and I thought about that. And because hummingbirds, like when they're in one place, they're totally still and totally present in that place.
Yeah.
And then they flip to the next place, and then they're totally still and they're totally present in that place. And I think that's such a beautiful description of Molly, because it's not like a bird that's just like, oh, goes here and there and there. It's like it's intensely there, and then intensely here, and then intensely there. And I was like, it's a hummingbird. That's exactly right. And at the same time, what'd you say? Exactly.
With stem legs.
With stem legs, and at the same time, like with wings that move faster than you can imagine. It's that's your spirit animal.
That's
Beautiful.
I mean, season 7, Molly Bernard. Let's be honest.
Great
Is
emoji.
the star of the show.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so really quickly, Molly, it pings back to you. So you have to say what you love and learn from Darren. And then, Darren, you're going to say it about everybody.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
so-
I hope so, because I have about 3% left. So
Okay. Oh, shoot.
I'm watching it tick down like, oh no, I'm going to disappear in a second.
Oh, shit. Okay.
What's that? The charge is so short. It's all the way over there.
Shit.
So, I mean, I can try. But let's go. Let's go. I'm
Okay,
listening.
Molly.
Baby, I'm listening.
Darren, this is so wild. What I love about you is I mean, not only are you a legend in the world and the industry. I'm like in LA right now, and I'm staying in West Hollywood, so I'm walking past Melrose Place, and then the zip code 90210. And I was just like, hold on, this is like, I'm in Darren's place. And I just feel like I love that you gave me my career. You like started my whole professional life. That's obvious. But you're an incredible boss. The confidence that you have had in all of us is so transparent. Like when you're on the set, you're not there as like the big boss. You're there as a champion and a supporter, and you have so much love, and you fiercely love your collaborators. And I have felt like you trusted me when I came into the show as a like little 25-year-old. I always felt like a collaborator of yours, and that you have the grace and the, I don't know, I aspire to have that one day, that kind of confidence in myself to trust others around me. You just cast really well. It's your ability to smell or sense the alchemy is just unfucking canny. And you also always give the best notes. Like when I was in my callback with you, you were like, okay, I think it's not like, it's less judgment. She's like, she has a lot of wonder about the world and about Liza's bush. that totally taught me who Lauren was, right? That it's like, oh, I might not have a bush like that, but I'm not gonna judge it. I'm actually like fascinated. It's so wondrous, her bush, and like, let me into that. What I've learned from you is, I mean, I've learned so much. You gave me an education. I've learned to ask questions. I've learned that it's okay on a set to ask questions, and it's okay to, be unabashedly be myself. I've learned that, and that's actually what you've done with your entire career. You write what interests you. You like meet the people who fascinate you. And you are really brave. I think it's really brave that you, I don't know. I had 6 lines in the pilot and made a really brave, bold choice to just like trust this little nervous hummingbird.
Oh, for the moment I met you, Molly, I saw everything in you. I just did. And I love to trust my instincts. I think that's one thing that I've learned the longer I've worked, is to trust my instincts. And I trusted my instinct when I met you, and I when I started in the writer's room with everybody, when we started season 1, I'm like, yeah, Lauren's going to be a regular, and Molly Bernard, like, who's Molly Bernard? I'm like, yeah, Lauren, what do you mean this is going to happen? I'm like, trust me, she's funny. She's smart. She is exactly the energy we don't have on this show. It wasn't in the pilot. And when I saw you, I was like, oh yeah, I want that. I want that. I loved your energy. And I just loved everything you brought to that little scene. And it just inspired me. And I will say beyond that, I get inspired by this entire cast. It's like why I wanted to keep writing this show till the end of the 7th season. You know, it's like all you guys inspire me so much by your talent and just by your enormous hearts and how much you give. And it's like I learned so much about like giving from this cast. I think this cast, all you guys give so much, and you're not afraid to show your emotion on as characters and then off the screen. And I've seen it in every one of you, how much you share your vulnerability and your emotion and really your affection for everyone you work with. And it just also who you are. I mean, I think we're really, really lucky that we just ended up like being thrown. You never know when you cast a show, you're not looking for like people you want to become friends with. You're looking for people that are talented. They're going to be at the role. I think in this case, I feel like I stumbled onto just a group of people that I just really want to have in my life.
Well, Darren's phone's dying. My AirPods are dying. Everything's dying. But before I let you guys go, I just want to say, as a fan, and like, you know, I think I said recently to somebody that like, I feel so honored to have my Venn diagram cross into all of yours and the world that is younger. I have been such a fan of all of your work for so many years. I came in on season 4 to start doing Getting Younger, the after show. So I've been with you guys now for 4 seasons, and I admire you all so much, and like true fandom, really. But at the same time, because you are also humble and gracious and wonderful, you have made me feel so comfortable and like such a part of this, I mean, amazingly talented crew and family. And there aren't enough words to describe how grateful I am. I think the world of all of you. And I like pinch myself that I'm sitting here like, I have to keep it cool because like that's my job. But shit, I freak out on the inside all the time. I worship you guys. I think the world of you. So thank you so much.
Taylor. You're one of us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you
for
guys
everything you
Awesome.
did.
Taylor.
so much.
Made it
Thank
so much
you.
fun.
Thank you. And I can speak for the audience because I am one of your number one fans. This show is hands down the most special thing I think I've ever like literally been a part of as a fan, as an audience member. And I can't believe it's over. I'm so sad. But I'm so happy that we got to wrap it the way we did. And it honestly, what an ending and what a way to go. So thank you guys for all of your hard work and all your brilliant acting and all the incredible writing and just every single piece of it. It's like my best friend, and now I have to say goodbye to it.
But you can watch it. You can watch all 7 seasons whenever you miss it.
Oh, that's what I've been doing. And that's the beauty. You just go back and watch it over and over and over again. And I will say, Darren Star, you are a constant present in my home and on my television. It is just Darren Star 24/7. So the brilliance is next level. And thank you guys so much, really.
Thanks for giving us this wonderful gift of spending all this time together. So fun. So great.
So great. Well,
Thank you.
I'm going to say just thank you guys for being here so much. I'm going to say it for the one last time. And thank you to all the younger fans out there for joining us. I'm Taylor Strecker. And for the last time, this is Getting Younger.
We love you.
Bye.
Thank you.